Alright, y'all, so I'm gonna just, I don't know how long this video is gonna be, but man, I can't think of a topic right now, so I think I'm gonna just let it flow. Well, what I can see right in front of me is my Netflix suggestion, and it's Rocky. And the topic of the genre is underdog movies. So I'm gonna say a little story real quick that I found out, and that'll be my topic. So everyone knows about David and Goliath, right? David and Goliath, this young ass fool, the shepherd. This fool hit his little slingshot, boom, hit that fool, boom, right in the head. Goliath, a big giant. They put the army up and they said, Goliath, like, send your own. I don't know the whole story, but they sent Goliath, and like I'm gonna say us as not the army, like what we were, like what our people. We sent David, and people always say like David and Goliath, like the underdog, like David's the underdog, and this and that. And that's cool, like if that's how you think it happened. But if you really look into the history of that story, have you ever heard like when people like are very small, and before I say like an improper term, like I'll just say little people, like someone who's very small, and it's obviously due to some genetic deficiency. Same thing as when someone's abnormally tall, and I'm not talking 6'2", 6'4". I'm saying how people are like 7 feet, and their fingers are long, their face is shaped different. That's a genetic deficiency as well. Just like dwarfinism, there's gigantic, some shit, gigantic shit syndrome. And Goliath, Goliath had that. Goliath was too big. Goliath wasn't big like naturally like that. Like he had a deficiency which kept him from like staying small. Like he kept growing, and in turn, it affected his body. His fingers, his arms, everything was longer, but his face was actually deformed as well, and his eyes were messed up. So you see this big giant, you see someone big and tall, but really, where David shot the slingshot from, Goliath couldn't even see him. And David, like he was like a sharpshooter, like fool, you think like a regular slingshot, but fool, there's fucking slingshots that rack back, boom, you let him go about your arm, put a fucking rock in there, fool, you sending someone to the next life, and that's pretty much what happened. So when you hear about David and Goliath as the underdog, that's really not how the story is. And before you say something about me, like keep in mind, this is my opinion and this is what I've read. So use your own knowledge to figure out how you feel about the story. But when I read the shit, David was very calculated with what he did. If Goliath can't see him, and obviously if Goliath was right in front of David, bro, who you think gonna win? Like you had this big ass giant versus this little ass kid, and if he can see him right here, he can grab him. He's within arm's reach. David ain't gonna be able to knock him out in the head. Like fool, you can't even reach to his head. But what he did do was he stayed back, racked his shit back, boom, let it fly, and he hit him right in the head. And it took the one. All he had to do was just stand there, boom, let it go. So I don't know. This made me want to talk about it. Like having an underdog feeling with him when really it wasn't. And maybe you guys could take that story and like apply it to your life, and somehow as maybe in your story in life you might feel like the underdog because like the odds are against you and you got this big giant in front of you. But in reality, maybe all it takes is just one calculated shot and you take that shit down. And maybe you ain't the underdog. Maybe Goliath was the true underdog, because Goliath up close he could get him. But like if David knocked him down and he didn't have to touch him, and Gar got close to him, what does that say about David? Maybe Goliath was the true underdog. So maybe that big giant that you think is in front of you, maybe all it takes is, like I said, one calculated move, one smart decision, one stepping back, looking at the whole situation, and all you take one rock, fool. So that's I think what my video is for today. Bet on yourself. Like if you feel like you're an underdog, what makes you an underdog? Maybe you're looking at it from the wrong perspective. Bet on yourself that you could get out of it. And if you are the true underdog, if the odds are stacked against you, how much better is that going to be when you succeed in what you're trying to do? So that's what I would say to do, you know, is just evaluate your life. And if you got a giant that you gotta face, or like I don't know who was in the lion's den. I can't remember who in the Bible was in the lion's den, but you know, face your giant, slay your giant, slay your lion, you know. I think it was David in the lion's den, but I ain't, don't quote me on that shit. I ain't know fucking, I don't know all the shit about the Bible. I just talk about God. But damn, my TV got on bright because of Netflix. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna leave you guys with is and I encourage you to read the story and develop your own opinion. And shit, if you look it up and you have the time and you want to comment on it, write in the comment what you think. Like, it was David really an underdog, or was he really the one on top? Like, did he have the odds on his side? So just put that in the comments. Let me know what you guys think, and yeah, hopefully if y'all facing a giant out there that you got to slay or some problem, whatever it is, I hope you guys can face it and, you know, just leave it up to God, have faith, and ask God for your slingshot and your rock in whatever way you need it, you know, and he'll show you how to shoot it. So yeah, just keep praying. God bless you guys. See y'all tomorrow, homie.